Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jeremy, founder of quickmail.io.
And this is Chief Lead Generation Officer at salesbread.com. Today, what do we got, Jeremy?
Yeah, we got kind of like an interesting cast recently. We added some advanced metrics in Quickmail, and I was thinking of redesigning the dashboard for, what type of metrics to display and stuff like that. And I kind of asked myself the question, what do I need to really look at to know if, my account is going well or my campaigns are on track? What type of metrics do I want to quickly have access to? Because obviously at the end, we all know what's important is how much, money you're making, or how much, well, actually, ultimately, how much money, can you grow the business? But, there's lots of things in between. And so what would you want to have your finger on and get the answer quickly? Does that sound like a good topic?
And it's a good topic. We've had metric topics in the past, but I think this time we're looking for the handful, maybe the one or two or three metrics that are really going to tell you how it's performing, as opposed to, a messy dashboard, right?
Yeah, plus I'm probably going to throw in as well some of the things that our customers been talking. And so that'll be interesting to figure out what your take is on it. I'll be curious.
All right. But before we dive right in, first, a quick word from our sponsors, because today, most B2B companies lack the time or expertise to turn your cold prospects into warm sales qualified leads. That's why at salesbread.com, we'll bring you one lead every day, Monday through Friday, by sending ultra personalized cold emails and LinkedIn messages on your behalf. So you don't have to worry about prospecting, personalization, list building, copywriting, outbound strategy, reply handling, following up, and everything in between. So if you want to grow your pipeline without worrying about all the details, head over to salesbread.com, check out some content, learn something new, or hit that contact button and get in touch today.
Love it. You should do it. Now I have to do mine, and I just dread doing it. I so don't want to do it. Anyway, but I believe this is one of the best software for cold outreach. So if you're looking to grow your business through more partnership, booking meetings, things like that, just give Quickmail a go. It's a fantastic engine to actually build all your processes and let it run. Spoiler alert for a future episode. I'm not going to say more, but it's an awesome tool. You should give it a go. And yeah, if you're fed up of having your email ending up in spam, give it a go.
Well said. Okay, Jeremy. So set the stage. Set the stage. Yeah, go ahead.
No. I think I've done the intro already good enough. So I think it's up to you now to tell me, like, how do we move from there?
Okay. So this is weird, but the first thing, I'm going to put myself in like this, bring in the consultant through the back door and show them what's going on. Are we okay? Do we need to, change things drastically, or is it actually working? The first thing I want to know is, how many prospects have you started on this campaign? Do we actually have enough numbers to make a decision today? Because you could show me, every stat in the book, but if only 10 people have experienced it, obviously we're going to wait before making a decision. So that's number one for me.
Yeah, what do you mean? Like, I can't figure out straight away if this is a good campaign or not when I'm contacting 3 people?
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's obvious, but you need to send a fair amount. And what's a fair amount? Over 100 to me. It doesn't have to be 1,000, but like, show me 150 people have started and made it at least halfway through, right? Before you can start to put assumptions together. What do you think of that number?
So I like it. I will also say 100 as well. At the same time, I will think of consistency. Like, did you actually contact it like 100 on Monday, like a whole 100 in one go on Monday, and then just let it through? And then now we're 2 weeks in, and like, because the problem I would see is, like, I would probably need to see, like, are we consistent with contacting always the same number of people? Because there's always a lag between we're contacting people, we're getting the reply, we're closing and stuff like that. And if we like stop and go constantly, then to me that'd be a problem. What do you think?
Yeah, you're right, but I would not ask that question second. I don't care about consistency just yet. Okay. I think it's a little
That's
early.
Fair. That's fair.
Instead, the next thing I'm going to ask is, how's the reply rate? Why? Because if the reply rate is double digits, I'm going to assume that deliverability is pretty much okay. I'm not going to go straight to, oh, you may have some deliverability issues, right? So if I'm saying, hey, here's a 13% reply rate across the board, I'm going to, move on to assuming deliverability is your next pain point. But if you tell me your reply rate's 2% or worse, then that opens the door of, hey, maybe you're in deliverability hot water. Let's take a look there next.
Yeah, or prospect list. But I'm thinking, let's say this campaign's been running for 5 weeks or so, right? And then you're the sort of like person that need to know if something starts going wrong or off. What would you be looking at?
Well, to be fair, the stage that was set is I'm coming in the back door and just seeing, is this working or not? So do you want to change it so that
yes, I think
maybe
so.
This is okay? How would you change it then?
So I would change it by I don't know, you're the CEO. Well, you obviously are. I am as well. And let's say someone is doing the campaign on our behalf, right? And we want some numbers to be reported. Which one would that be?
Right.
So
okay.
you can figure out like, hey, some sort of like warning signals, right? So, hey, this actually is going the wrong direction or whatever. What would you?
Fine. Then I'm looking at two things: replies generated each week and number of prospects started each week. So watch what happens.
So we're coming with consistency as well, right? On this time. Yeah.
Well, if you're looking at like a week by week basis,
yeah,
you have to analyze it. All right. Okay.
That's right.
So
that's right.
That's
okay,
a little different.
You got me. Yeah.
So now, week 2 comes in. Hey, we started another 100 prospects or another 500 prospects. Great. And week 2 number of replies is 51. Okay, sounds good. If week 3 kind of looks similar, number of prospects started and number of replies gotten, I would expect the week 3 responses to be higher just because it's had more time, more people have received follow-ups. But if it's roughly, okay, I'm getting about the same number of new replies, and then all of a sudden week 4, I'm seeing 20 replies come in, everything stops. There is an issue at the moment. Right now, that issue could be you're in middle of August and everybody's on vacation. So the issue could be not in your control. Right. But I do want to use that opportunity to take a deeper look. And I would be interested to have this conversation with you. Like, how does that analysis go once you identify an issue with these two numbers now? Do you like those two numbers being checked?
Yeah, okay. I do. And definitely there will be sort of like, pulse, on the engine, like how is that working? One thing also that I heard quite often is to not just look at the past, but also the future. Like, do we have enough people ready for next week? Right. Or like making sure you always have people.
As a CEO, I'm not worried about that. That is for sure not the responsibility of the business owner. Instead, it's the person running the campaign.
I have to knock you down 1 or 2 levels. Then in this case, you're not CEO
anymore. It won't be because like the CEO is not list building.
That's true. That's true.
So come on, like look, here's how I view it. Yeah. Seriously, like the campaign manager needs to make sure there's enough prospects in the pipe at all time. Now, at some point, they may say, hey, boss, we're out. I don't know where to find new ones. That happens regularly, but you need that person to ring the bell once list building is showing a dangerous number of prospects. So I don't really see this as the thing to check at. But your campaign manager needs to worry about that. You should.
Right. Yeah. Okay, well, let's say your campaign manager now.
I'm getting demoted left
and
that's
right, here. Right? A terrible job at CEO. So anyway, so another thing that I'm thinking of, I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but I would also want to see email deliverability on a week-by-week basis as well, just to figure out like, and potentially even per inbox or per domain, right? To figure out like, do we actually need to rotate one of those domains, or is that not going so well? Like those sort of things, and potentially even per day. I'm not even like 100% sure, just to see if there is a cliff, something bad's been happening.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So I think if depending what your job title is, if you're CEO, you want the 10,000 foot view.
Yeah, of course,
you want to see replies going up, and only then. This brings us to our second part of the conversation. Let's say you do see a drop. That deliverability is the very first thing I inspect. That's my cue to say, okay, how did deliverability drop off? And granted, you could have a campaign manager look at that daily, but for like 10,000 feet, that's the first logical cause for alarm is, time to bring in one of your inboxes from the roster into action at that point.
Okay, cool. What else should we look at? For me, I think it'll be. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You got an idea?
Yeah, then it would be like positive reply to booked call.
I was about
conversion. You got
to
it.
say it. Actually, even one step further, which will be like, do those people actually lead to an interesting conversation or not? Because if you actually get people on it and either they misunderstood what your product is, or they're not interested in actually being a buyer, it's like some work upstream needs to be happening that didn't happen properly.
Right. So, yeah, some people call that a sales qualified lead at that point,
Right.
where everything checks out. And right. So how many good interactions are you developing that lead to an SQL? Okay. And then look, at that point, frankly, I think cold outreach stops. Like if SQLs are being generated, it's not the fault of your cold emails, your LinkedIn message. It's the fault of your closer at that point, where maybe they're not getting enough opportunities, in which case, okay, like then you can analyze. But if it's SQLs not converting, look somewhere else than outbound.
100%. Yeah. So the role is really to generate MQL, right? Which is marketing qualified leads. And as soon as they become SQL, it means it's been validated by the salesperson as, they're qualified, right?
That's about right. Yeah. And we don't have a 10-minute timer going, but like, I think do we know what warnings to look at ahead of time? For the CEO, it's total number of replies leading to, and then for the campaign manager, you're worrying about, we didn't even mention positive reply rate, but the campaign manager is going to make sure that their list is on target and their messaging works by that positive reply ratio.
Yeah, you did actually. I call it like sentiment, but that's the same thing. Damn it, I had another question. I forgot. Oh, do you think it's the same of like a client of an agency? Would they actually look at the same metrics or different set of metrics? Yeah, they don't care,
not.
right?
Just I mean, if you want to, then you should do it yourself. I think that's one of the things that sales bred was we take off the plate of worrying about all that stuff. Because it can be messy, especially if you don't know exactly what you're looking at or what you need to prioritize in terms of all these metrics.
Right. I think that's it. Hopefully we refocus on what's important to look at different level and stage in your company even.
Good point. Okay, fair. And so if this conversation piqued your appetite for cold email, check out course.quickmail.io, where you can take our masterclass risk-free for 30 days, and develop the skills that some of the best agencies on earth know to make businesses money through cold email outreach. That's course.quickmail.io. Jeremy, thanks for an interesting, insightful metrics conversation. I'm sure we'll revisit this topic down the road.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Jack.